I still have a
Every player out there thinks that they're an NBA player or wants to be an NBA player. And I think each player deserves the right to be there because it is their dreams.
Whether he gets drafted or not, you've given him the shot. That's all he can ask for.
You get here and you show that you're a player, then, you're in the NBA.
Now I'm shitting with no tissue, and this is my issue, I'm not kidding. Y'all say it's in the fly car, living like y'all, so I don't pay you no mind.
But what it all comes down to is, can a guy play at the next level?
Get on with your half-ass plan. I know you will watch when
Isaiah Cousins from the University of Oklahoma, point guard.
He's a guy who was the other guard in the backcourt next to Buddy Hield, the All-American, won some Player of the Year awards. Isaiah Cousins is a true combo guard who can actually do both things. A lot of times when somebody says, well, he's a combo guard, what they mean is he's really a pretty good shooter and he's not a terrible ball handler. Or he's really a pretty good point guard and he's an okay shooter. With Cousins, he's really pretty good at both. On a scale of 1 to 10, he's like an 8 in a lot of categories. So Cousins is a guy that, again, when you're playing on national TV as often as he did, it's hard to say he was playing in the shadow, but he was playing in the shadow of Buddy Hield.
Oklahoma and UConn was in the picture, and I fell in love with Lon Kruger, and I felt he was a good guy to trust to go to college with, and I liked the system. It was a different adjustment, a different lifestyle, a whole new scenery for me. But as the year went on, I was able to adapt quick. It's a great experience, just coming out here and meeting general managers and teams and everybody who's in the NBA, and just preparing you just to get ready to make that big step. PIT is basically the same thing. It helped me prepare me for the interviews that was going to be here and see what type of timing I need for my position in the NBA, and just really working to make that time.
Cousins is a very good player in his own right, and I think he proved that this week. The way he was able to play here, he was able to do multiple things. But he's a guy who can contribute in a lot of ways. He can score. He's not a bad shooter. He's a competent shooter. He's not an outstanding shooter, but he's competent. And when he drives the ball to the basket, you realize this is a pretty strong kid, and he's pretty tall, and he gets things done when he drives into the lane. Isaiah Cousins is a tremendous defensive player. They kind of forgot about Cousins, and they said, oh yeah, Cousins, he's a decent player. But what they didn't realize is that while Hield was sort of resting on defense a lot of times, Cousins was wearing out the opposing team's point guards. In Portsmouth, he was aggressive, made the all-tournament team. He scored the ball, but he also really played a nice point guard. He made plays for all his teammates. If there's one thing that's going to make an NBA coach fall in love with a guy who doesn't have a guaranteed contract and is trying to make the team, it's on-the-ball defense. If that's something that you bring to the table, the coach is going to give you a second look. And even if he doesn't make a team right off the bat, he's the kind of guy where you put him on your D-League team and you tell him, look, stay ready. Go down there, play as well as you can, play as hard as you can, and if we have an injury, you're the first guy. Because he's the kind of guy where when you bring him up, he's only, and this is one of my favorite things about him, is he's only going to add. He's not going to detract. He's either going to be, he's going to leave the game, the score will be about the same as when he came in, or maybe you picked up some ground. And for a backup player in the NBA, that's the highest reward that you can bestow on a guy, is to say, he never hurts us, and sometimes he really helps us. So I like him. I just think he's got a lot to show, and I think he's the type of player that with his work ethic, if his shooting gets a little bit better, you could be talking about a long-term NBA player, because he's got the defensive end of the game down cold.
Once more.